There are a lot of questions that surround the topic whether you should open up a big barbershop or salon versus working for yourself at a private salon suite. In this educational video, I will be talking about the pros and cons of opening up a big retail space such as a barbershop or salon versus going to work for yourself in a smaller space like a salon suite. So what are some of the positive aspects of owning a big retail space like a barbershop or salon? For starters, the area is going to be a lot larger and you might have it equipped with an area in the back to wash and dry towels, a space for a washer and dryer. You might have a big space for the clients to wait and sit down before they get service, a waiting area. And with this, you might also have a receptionist to be able to answer the phone, to be able to make the appointments, cash out the clients, sell the products at the end, give it to them in a bag. And all of these things can be positive because you have a larger space to work with and more help. With a big retail space, you are going to have the possibility to have a big sign outside saying barbershop or the name of the barbershop or salon. These can be things that can be positive because as clients drive by or walk by in the shopping center, they are going to realize that there is a barbershop or salon in the area. When you're on a main street or avenue or in a busy shopping center, this helps a lot when talking about walk-ins. Walk-ins help any new business thrive, and your business should be visible. And if you have a large sign that says barbershop or salon, it's going to welcome new clients to stop by, come inside, ask questions about the services, prices, and it is a good way to bring people in the door. When you have a barbershop or salon, you are dealing with employees and dealing with a lot of people that are coming in through the door. This can be positive because now you have people that report to you, people that are making money for you, and you're meeting a lot of this new clientele that potentially can be good connections, good for networking, can help you out whenever you need something for your business. And if you're a new barber, this type of environment is going to help you thrive. It's going to help you grow your clientele because a barbershop or salon, the owners are supposed to promote and market the place, and this is going to draw people into the door. And you can rest assured that you are going to be able to grow your clientele as long as you service them properly, you're cordial, you're kind, you're professional, you are on time, and all of this is going to make you gain that clientele so that you can make steady income going forward. Now, the same way that there are positive attributes to owning a business, there are also negative attributes that come along with it. Because dealing with a business, you're also dealing with high expenses, high overhead. You do have to pay for the retail space. You do have to pay for having receptionists or employees. And depending on how you structure your business, whether you are paying your employees through percentage or renting them out the chair or paying them hourly, these are things that you gotta come up with as an owner to be able to structure your business properly. For most, the first few months are very crucial because money is coming out and you have to quickly promote and try to get money to come back in the door with these new clients, with people hearing about your business, and marketing is key. With that in mind, an owner of a big retail space wears many hats. They are hiring employees, so you are practically the human resource department. They are marketing, they are managing and doing many more functions all in one. Now, the same way that when you are growing your business and you're hiring more employees, and this is something positive, at the same time, being an owner, you have to often fire people for not following the rules. Now, this can be a negative attribute because as you let go of people, the expenses are still the same. So now with fewer employees, you are still required to cover these expenses and the overhead. As the owner of a barbershop or salon, you have to be the first one to set an example. Not only are you creating the rules that have to be abide in the barbershop or salon, but you have to be the first one to set that example, to follow those rules, to show your employees that this is the way that you want your business to be ran and how you want to take care of your customers. setting these boundaries as to how your employees should talk, how they should dress, when they should come in, how they should leave, what hours and days they should be working in, it's crucial so that you can attract the clientele that you want. If you want a professional, a steady clientele, a family-oriented atmosphere, you have to set these rules in place. Now, at first, it may be hard because you have to be on top of the employees, make sure that you remind them, tell them over and over again that they shouldn't do this and that they should be doing that. And oftentimes, it can be burdensome. It can get on the way with that relationship that you are trying to build with your employees. But being a good owner, you have to do this, and these are part of the steps that are required so that you can be successful and own a good practice. Another thing that I often hear people say is that they want to go into business so that they can have more freedom, so that they can have more time for themselves. But they often see that going into business, you are often working more hours than when you were an employee and working for someone else. And starting your own business, it does require time. You are going to have to go through inspections, permits, the build out, talking to an architect, making sure you choose the floor that you want, the paint that is going to go on the walls, the furniture, the chairs, the stations. And all of these things take time to not only research and buy them, perhaps through the internet or a beauty supply store, but it also takes time for the contractor to do the work, for the agencies, the city, the county to approve these permits and allow you to open up your business. During this time, you may be required to be paying rent, and oftentimes it takes months for you to finish the permitting process, the build out, and everything that comes along with receiving the furniture, installing everything properly, and being able to open up your place. Now, during this time, as you're paying for the rent, as you're paying for water or electricity, or you start doing marketing, all of this should be calculated when you set up a budget to initially start your own business. You should have enough money to cover the first few months of expenses until you get your feet off the ground. This often takes time, and there are many financial experts that say that you should at least have money to cover for up to a year or two of expenses until the business starts generating good income. Now, if you are a barber or a stylist and you're actively promoting on social media through flyers, perhaps in the city's newspaper, you could be having someone handing out flyers in the streets, putting them in the cars, going around to the different houses and promoting yourself, then this is all going to help you to start attracting new clients from the early start. So when you're going to decide to open up your own business, you have to ask yourself all of these questions. Am I ready to manage people, to have a high overhead and expenses? Am I ready to deal with permitting and contracts and dealing with the city and the county and build outs and architects and contractors? Am I ready to know how to interview and hire or perhaps fire people? Do I know how to set rules and put them in place? And do I know how to manage? Do I know how to wear all these hats like marketing, HR, management, and other things that come along with owning a business? Are you ready to put in more time and work multiple hours until you get your business off the ground? Why do I say that? Because oftentimes the people that are the closest to you, such as your friends and your family, are going to tell you negative things like you can't do it, this is too hard, it's tough, you shouldn't go into it, you're going to be wasting a lot of money, and they place a lot of negative thoughts in you. And you have to be able to push all these things aside and say, well, maybe I can do it. I could be a business owner. I could learn from this. Failure perhaps is the greatest teacher and is going to make me a better person, a more knowledgeable person. I am going to grow in the process and understand many things that I didn't even know before. So making sure that you are going to take the step requires very much positive thinking. Now, let's talk about the other side of the coin. Maybe you've been in the industry and you've been cutting hair as a barber or a stylist for quite some time, and you're ready to take the next step, to take that leap of faith and open up your own establishment, but you don't want it to be so big like a barbershop or salon. And perhaps you want to do it in a smaller scale, such as a salon suite, where you're going to be the only one there. You're going to be working for yourself. Well, let's talk about some of the positive attributes that come from that. Well, in comparison to a barbershop or salon, you're going to have a way smaller overhead, less expenses. Your rent is not going to be as high. You're not going to be dealing with employees. You are working for yourself. So the rules that you do set in place are very easy for you to follow them. You can decorate the salon suite as you want. Some salon suites allow you to bring in your own chair, your own station, for you to be able to paint the walls the color that you want, for you to hang up on the walls whatever you want. And in this smaller space, you can offer your clients complimentary drinks. You can set the right environment with the music, with the way that you want your clients to be treated, and it becomes more easier for you to manage everything yourself, because you are not dealing with multiple employees that you have to promote. You're not dealing with buying furniture. You're not dealing with buying washers and dryers. You're not dealing with hiring any people. You are not dealing with contractors, permits, the county, the city, inspectors, because these places are already equipped for a barber or stylist to go right in and start working. You are going to have obviously your barber's license or your stylist license in place, and you might have to get one or two other permits within your city or your county. But apart from that, it is a faster process to get into working for yourself and starting your own small business. One of the good things about these salon suite spaces is that what you pay in rent includes the internet, water, electricity. Sometimes it includes parking in a garage. So these are all positive attributes that you don't have to set extra accounts for and pay all these different expenses separately, because as you pay your rent, all of these things are included and it makes it a smoother ride going forward. Another positive attribute of these salon suites is that you have access 24/7. Whether you want to start working very early in the morning or work very late in the day or work weekends or whenever you want, holidays, they often give you access because they give you these fobs that give you access to the facilities, and you have the key to your own salon suite where you can access the salon suite and control the AC and work the way you want and do everything that you want whenever you want. Now, in the same way that there are positive attributes for being in a salon suite, there are also some negative attributes that we should speak about in this video. For one, salon suites are not good for barbers or stylists that are just starting out in the field. If you are new into the industry, this is not a good way to build clientele. Why? Because in these salon suites, there are really no walk-ins, no new clients coming in. This is more for established barbers or stylists that have been working in the industry for many years, that have a really good, solid book of clientele, that already have the people following them, and that are coming into these establishments with a lot of clients. One of the negative attributes of working in a salon suite is that you are all alone. Now you don't have other barbers or stylists to talk to while you're working, or join in the conversations of your colleagues and other clients, and it is just you and the client. So to make it less awkward, it is always best to have music or something playing on the TV, such as sports or the news. And it is very important for you to develop yourself, to have good conversations, to be able to remember the things that you spoke to with your clients in their previous visits, so that you can continue asking them about their life, their work, their family, and so that you can make them feel comfortable, so that you can establish that good connection between you and your client. And that is going to allow the clients to stay with you, to stick with you, because they're going to see that you know them by their name, that you remember the things that they share with you. And all of these things must be done in order to ensure that you have a good positive atmosphere while you're there. Now, While talking about being alone, you also have to buy all the supplies, all the things that you need that you're using on them by yourself. You don't have nobody to depend on that is buying these things for you. So you have to be the one going to the beauty supply stores, setting up these partnerships with companies that you're buying the color from, the styling products, or anything that you're using on your clients or that you are selling to them at the end of the service. So all this falls on you. Now, working in a salon suite, you are not going to have a large signage outside of the building. Why? Because this is a space where a lot of people come into, and inside you have a lot of these private suites, a lot of stylists or barbers working in these spaces. So the only thing that you might see outside is the fact that it says salon suites or private suites, beauty suites. And as they go in, you're gonna be sharing a small lobby where your clients have to sit and wait for you. And it is completely separate from the suite. So this kind of creates some awkwardness. Also, you're going to be sharing with all of these suite owners a bathroom or an area where you are washing the towels and drying the towels. So at times you often have to wait for somebody to finish for you to be able to put your towels in there. You're also going to be sharing a small space where you are going to be eating your lunch or eating whatever snack that you are trying to eat. And at times it can have other people and you might have to wait until they finish for you to do your own things. So now, after talking about both the good and the bad of owning a big retail space such as a barbershop or salon, and the good and bad of being in a salon suite and working for yourself, you have to decide what is best for you, because there is no right and wrong here, whether one is better than the other. Depending on your situation, depending on the amount of years that you've been working in the industry, depending on how big your clientele is, depending on how you want to run things and do things with your life and what's going on with your family, you may opt to choose one over the other. And like I said, not one is better than the other, but for some people, they do want to work for themselves, to have their own little business, but not deal with the employees and big expenses, big overhead. But for some, they do want that, and they do want to grow and open up multiple businesses and eventually stop working, cutting hair behind the chair. And by owning a business, you are going to be able to do that. While being in a salon suite, if you don't cut hair, you're not getting paid. So this is where you have to evaluate and analyze and ask yourself, what is good for me? What are my goals? What are my future plans? What am I trying to do in my life? And choose whether one option is better for you than the other. Remember, if you like these videos, share them with your friends, share them with barbers, stylists, comment, make sure you like them, and follow our page for more content.